All right, so here we are. This is once again Ultimate General. We are playing on Major General this time. So the Brigadier General Let's Play has been going swimmingly. However, we've rapidly gotten to the point where the battles aren't really challenging. You know, the Union Army is just vastly outstripping whatever the Confederates can throw at it, and it's I don't know. I'm not. It's not fun. I'm running into the issue that it's not really fun to play, and the battles are going well, and I keep on hearing that Major General's kind of the next step, I guess. So here we are. We're doing a Major General Let's Play. So this video will probably be sped up pretty significantly. We've all seen Philip High played a couple of times. I have the same strat that I utilize for this battle every time. The only thing that's going to be really kind of differentiated is how the second half of this goes. The first half will just be kind of running down the skirmishers and then taking the town. The overall Grand Army strategy, I've really been happy with how mixed order is going, especially in the early part of the campaign, utilizing a lot of captured weaponry and then bleeding down units to around the 1400-ish size allows the Union Army to utilize a lot of spread those muskets around a lot better, and will grow the average unit size to essentially what my armory can support. So, brief note about strategy. I've got Zook's dismounted skirmishers back here kind of watching my rear, while Stockton and Schaefer kind of push up and deal with Burns and Sill. I'm aware that generally speaking, Hexamer kind of pokes at my rear and is a pain to run down, so I'd like to deal with him now. I'm interested that they've been shooting exclusively at Stockton, and he's sort of paid for that fact. Oh, there's Hexhammer. All right, so we're going to kind of just do this for a bit. These two units are going to kind of trade fire. Zook's skirmishers will likely lose that trade, as Hexhammer has better weapons than the skirms do. But that's interesting. So they've sort of ceded the hill to me. When I have access to the skirmisher, the skirmish cav, Bristow, yeah, he will join Zook's skirmishers in hunting down Hexamer, while Zook, Walton, and Loomis move on the town. There's a couple of different ways you can do sort of the opening phase of this fight. Oh, interesting. They're coming after me. One thing I already like more is, so full disclosure, I've played the first couple of battles on Major General to see if I'm up to it, and if I can make that interesting. And I've gotten through to Stress Call. And one thing I think is interesting is I like how much more they stick it out, how much more the AI kind of seems, I guess, willing to keep the fight up. And one of my big complaints about the Brigadier General playthrough, at least on my end of it internally, is once I got kind of the army to a certain point, the AI wasn't really in a position to offer meaningful resistance because I was just out-equipping or out-maneuvering them at every step. And a lot of that, I don't want to be like I'm so good. A lot of that was from watching other YouTubers, and we kind of, some of these battles are sort of a solved problem. There's a lot of really good data. I want to give special thanks to one of the forum members, a person named Panic Route, for, come on, get in there. Providing a lot of good information, and Something Compass has been a very active contributor to providing me data for my playthrough. So I really think that the quality of my playthrough is immeasurably better because of their contributions, and I can't, begin to thank them enough. And as a result, the level of my play has gotten significantly better as well. So you may be able to hear my cat in the background. I'm not entirely sure. What's that resulted in is where I used to be very intimidated of the major general difficulty level, I now kind of feel like maybe I'm up to it. And so here we are. And one thing I'm noticing is that the AI has a lot more fight in it. The AI is willing to kind of stick out these engagements a lot longer. I don't know if they have any kind of morale bonus. I doubt they do. It's probably just a numbers thing. It's probably there's some sort of aggressiveness setting that's just turned up way high. Anyway, so as a general strategy, I'm running down Hexhammer, and we'll just kind of deal with him. Once that's done, I'll let all the skirmishers here kind of rest up. We'll go ahead and actually fold Zook's skirmishers back within his parent unit. The 3 units that are left here can deal with Hexhammer by themselves. We'll just continue to use Stockton and Schaefer to run them down. Bristol will remount and then eventually charge or outmaneuver. And then over here, because we've got 4 hours, I've got plenty of time. I'm going to go ahead and let the artillery just shell McHenry. And it's been my experience that if I try and get the artillery a lot closer than where they're at right now, McHenry starts shooting back, and I don't want that. So we're going to let it be, basically. Man, I really just need this unit gone. And I'm not mega worried about casualties here because I don't get to keep any of these units. Okay, keep it up. Run them down. There you go. Cool. So, run over there, rest up. Let that go for a little bit. And then, oh, that's interesting. I guess they've decided to come out and play, which is actually ideal. My goodness. That couldn't be any better. Okay, this didn't happen in my test game. Yeah, that's great. Holy hell. Man. Yeah, Walton, sure. Walton might not be of the same opinion than I am that that's actually a good thing, but for the purposes of the rest of the army, that's fantastic. That's great. I've never gotten him to come out of the town like that before. They just took 300 casualties, give or take, for what? 44, 3. Some of this is probably... Zook, I know, is probably because some of the skirmishers took shots. So probably, we'll call it 45 or so, 48. Yeah, that's great. So my intention was simply to shell them to the point where they retreated back over the town. And then there's a recon point somewhere up that way I want them to occupy. I don't actually want to try and cross over this river. But if there are some kills we can get in the town, there's no reason for us not to try and milk that. Yeah. Great. No, wait. Just you go forward. Especially as the army is coming together, I'm going to need to be very careful about micromanaging Uh, you'll see in my normal videos, I get to the point where I'm kind of like, yeah, sure, if you guys want to crisscross like idiots, go right ahead. I don't care. And that's obviously not a behavior pattern that I can let fly on Major General, where I just need to be that much more economical about my movements. So the more that he wants to stand there and grind this out, I am plenty happy, especially given the fact that he's at, I don't know, almost morale shock territory. I don't quite know if he's at that point yet. Yeah, awesome. So just you hang out there, and then now that way I've got that much more that I can see. Perfect. And again, we've got another 3 hours. I'm more than willing to just kind of let them, grind this out. If McHenry wants to go until he hits the shatter point, that's great as far as I'm concerned. Eventually, this unit's going to have to figure out that they can't win this particular engagement and back off. When that will be, I don't really know. All right, you're fine. Relax. All right, so having secured this half of the river, once McHenry decides he's had enough, the next phase of the plan is to shell route. Shell route until he decides he's had enough. He'll route, run away, probably rally and come back, and keep shelling him again. Once route's broken twice, and I've had the chance to rest these guys up, I'll push them across the river here. And then we'll push south into the town. I'll join them with skirmishers and cav, who will hopefully have rested at that point in time. And yeah, I'm also really, really liking kind of how conservative I have to be in the way that I push, especially in this particular battle. There's so many ways I could just throw forces away for no reason. All right, so I'm at the point now where I'd like to see if I can't shatter McHenry before, which would be a real coup. All right, you need to back up. I'm happy to let them get shelled from the distance in the rear because they're in a city, and so I'm not terribly worried about it. But as Walton comes out, yeah, I guess we need to just kind of leave it be. All right, we'll go ahead and fast forward for a bit. We still got 3 hours. We got plenty of time. Okay, so Roots decided is that enough. We'll go ahead and have these guys stop shooting for a moment. It's been my general experience that they'll decide to come back to it for a little while. We'll shell them again, and once they shatter or route the second time, then we cross, unless they decide to go somewhere else. Okay, well that's interesting. Okay. Presented with that kind of an opening, I can't not press across the river. Walton may have to carry quite a bit of weight in resisting Root's push. I don't know what exactly Root thinks he's going to accomplish. But I'm more than willing to allow him to try. I've never seen the AI try this. And now the real battle begins. So anyone who's tried to play this particular phase of the fight knows that this is a real slog. We're going to get reinforcements. We're not going to get them soon enough. And, I mean, that's basically the crux of the fight. And it's just a battle of target prioritization. It's one that I've not really figured out. I've watched a lot of players kind of try this fight out, and I'm not going to say it always goes more or less the same way, but it's a real bitch. Just to put it that way, it's a real bitch of a fight. So what I'm doing is consolidating everything into the town, and then I'm putting skirmishers immediately behind line infantry with the intention of using line infantry as... Well, I know the AI is going to charge, basically. So I have cannons and skirmishers behind the line infantry so that when whatever's charging me penetrates and enters the unit space of, say, Loomis, then Stockton will be right behind Loomis and start pouring fire into the chargers. Additionally, Scales and Woods, they're going to be in this position to do the same thing. And especially if you're watching my channel, you know there's this stupid train thing that comes this way. And on the normal battle, I had the freedom to deliberately target the cannon at that train, and I don't know if I'm going to have that freedom in this fight, in that I ran into the issue last time that this is a tough fight, and I needed that canister desperately to throw off assaulting forces at the same time as I was dealing with the train. And there wasn't really a good time to direct fire at the train. So we'll see. This is a great little brief respite, thank goodness. My guys get a chance to rest. I've got the cannons deliberately on not fire. The enemy can't see me. Admittedly, I can't see the enemy because I'm not occupying this forward trench or breastwork, I guess. But the issue I run into is that the breastwork is basically a suicide pit. So we get the 2nd 1st Corps and the 2nd 1st Division. That's weird. So we're going to go ahead and push all this stuff up to join us ASAP. And I'll move them there. And I'm going to have the infantry run. I need them present more than I need them rested. And every second the AI gives me to get my dudes rested up and everything else, or more guys into position, the better. And I will not have them cross the bridge running, but if I can get them close to this city while running, so much the better. Wow, that's actually strange that I'm not actively under assault at the same time as the train shows up. We'll see how long that lasts. Here we go. Pretty sure that's Perrin coming in for a punch. All right, so the first thing we're going to do is put the cannons on free fire. Here we go. Yeah, I keep on saying here we go, and they keep on not charging. I've played this battle a couple of times on Major General. It always seems like, the Confederates are just in a hurry to come screaming into my town. All right, so I've put the reinforcements, the 2nd 1st Corps and the 2nd 1st Division. I put them all off of run, and I've ordered them to cross the bridge. We're going to have Colquitt here kind of guarding our left, sort of guarding out this way. And then Milroy and Bruce are almost certainly going to have to replace weakened or possibly even routing Loomis's and Walton's. So we'll see. He's charging skirmishers into melee. That's an interesting play. And a more a broader charge. This is excellent. This is excellent. He ran in with the cav, baited the shot, and then charged Grant in there. And I put the game on Walton. Bro, you have your own thing to watch. Put the game on halftime just because there's a lot happening right now and I want to track it all. And it's a lot more interesting. It's easier to edit than if I just pause it and try and cut the pauses out. I imagine that's a thing I could do, but it would just take eons. Yep, so Walton's had enough, which, I mean, given the amount of fire being poured onto his position, makes a degree of sense. And we're going to go ahead and throw Zook in to support Loomis. And Schaefer's going to have to keep just pushing Parrot off. Reinforcements are coming in. Okay, I think, believe it or not, we may actually be okay. I need them to shoot this freaking train, but Scales is just standing around the damn thing, so I can't actually click him, or click it, which is quite frustrating. Milroy's probably taking losses he doesn't need to be taking. But we have a whole bunch more artillery in position, so there's that. So at this point, it's just kind of grinding it out. I've got the reinforcements in position. I'd love to get Scales to leave that stupid train alone so I could click on the train versus Scales, but I guess that's not going to be a thing. So we'll just sort of have to deal with that. Maybe all this artillery will be able to... yeah, okay, cool. So the train's decided to F off, which is great. Thankfully, this is a mechanic we don't see a lot of in future battles. Or any of in future battles, I don't think. And at this point, I'm pretty sure the battle's functionally over and it's just cleanup. Although I suppose tell them that. This, by the way, is why I like Major General. I was mentioning this earlier. I like how willing the AI is to fight these battles out. By this point, when I was playing on Brigadier General, the fight was basically over. I'm going to lose that unit. I'm going to lose that unit. Yep, here they go. Okay. That's on me for getting too aggressive. And they're just still coming, you know? Battle's almost over. They've taken some crazy losses, and they're just still coming at me. It's one of the things I like about Major General is that the army, the enemy has some spunk. The enemy has the willingness to keep fighting. And we're obviously going to keep fighting too. We're going to try and wipe the field or go until they kick us off. Okay. So that's Capture Train Station or the Battle of Philippi. Some promotions, that's excellent. 1 officer deceased. I don't know which ones are mine and which ones aren't. I'm fairly certain Walton and Loomis are mine, and Zook and Milroy I don't get to keep. That's fine. Enough for a unit of Springfields captured and enough for a unit of cavalry captured, as well as enough to fill up a unit of artillery. We're going to go ahead and handle the camp screen here before we go into the Battle of Distress Call. Just as a quick reminder, the enemy has 7,200. We have 8 units we can bring to the fight. In this battle, my intent is to try and bring approximately 4 units of... well, first, let's go ahead and bump our army org so that we can actually bring 8 units. We're going to try and bring... what's mine? So, infantry gain that, and then we gain the ammo perk. It's not terrible. I've had worse perks, I suppose. And we're going to go ahead and spend that on the palmettos. All right, good arty perks. That makes me happy. We're going to go ahead and upgrade you, 6-pounders, to the wired. We're going to go ahead and buy up that extra gun. We're going to go ahead and bump you up to full strength. Going to go ahead and create a colonel. And I don't like either one of these perks, so we're going to need to find some way. And I keep not knowing how to do this. I've done it a couple of times and managed to pull it off, and then I'm not really sure what to do. So we're going to get a little tricky. We're going to spend as little money as humanly possible, although we do ultimately need these officers, so I'm not that terribly worried about what we're doing here. We actually do need a cav unit anyway. 206. Okay, and we also need a skirmisher unit, which we're going to be whipping with sharps. All right, so all of the soldiers that are currently, my pool is empty. We're going to go ahead and delete these units, and then we should have enough for a veteran, a single veteran unit. So we're going to go ahead and try this. Okay, so they get a perk. All right. And then, how do we do this? We need enough for a 500-man unit. Yep, okay, I got it. We're going to delete Phelps. We're going to go ahead and bump you up to your intended fighting strength. Let's just play it safe. I don't want to fiddle with this too much. So that'll take you down to what, 800 and change? So we got 750. Perfect. All right, so then we should be able to do an 800-man-ish. Well, it'll be 799, but whatever. We're going to delete Smith and bump people up a little bit to get the right perk. Ah, darn it. Okay. Well, that's fine. So there's a way you can do this. I keep messing it up, but there's a way you can kind of preserve the two starting units because they almost always have the wrong damn perk. All right. Anyway, let's go ahead and do what we're going to do here. So we're going to delete Smith because we don't want to be unit that big. We're going to bump you to 800. We're going to make... We've got palmettos, which is what I wanted to be giving to these guys because they're my vets. So they're going to get palmettos, and I guess I don't have any more vets. That's it, isn't it? All right. Well, you get them too then. Fine, have fun. And then the rest of the guys are going to be getting Springfield 42s. And we're not going to have enough for 800-man units. That's right, because I didn't take politics this time. We're going to have... $700-man new units. The Cav, we're not going to spend anything on guns we don't have. You're good. Your perks are good. I like your perks. Okay. We're going to bump you up to 200. That's going to take a lot of men. Well, the men isn't the problem. It's the money. Okay. We've got 30 more guys. Bump you to 780. Nice round number. You're the closest thing I have to a veteran. And we've got 4 soldiers left and a bunch of resupply, which is great. Spend all of it. I can always pull it back out later. Screw it. There. We've used every resource we have going into the battle. And okay. This is the naming convention. Infantry are infantry until they get to a certain point, and then I upgrade them to guards or something and give them a special bonus. Artillery, I get them kind of named, so the ordnance and parrot weapons are called ordnance. Everything else is called a field gun if it's a direct fire weapon. And any howitzer is going to be called howitzers, but they're all in the same numbering convention: first, second, third, so forth and so on. So first field, second ordnance, third howitzer, all the same line. Light infantry and cavalry are going to be in their own numbering system. Light foot is a very kind of Napoleonic thing. If I ever get to the point where I've got units that are optimized for melee, I'll go ahead and name them Grenadiers, and we'll go from there. So thanks for watching. This is Fiasco, and I'm excited for this Major General playthrough. I know that it does mean I'm kind of retreading over some old territory, but Major General is really a different game entirely. Let's take a look at what's happened to scaling, if they've jumped up any. I'm sure they have. About the same. Okay. I forget the exact number. I'm sure I can look it up when I do the video, and I'm not terribly inclined to. But, yeah. So that is, we're still massively outnumbered, but this is a really fun battle, and it's a great opportunity to bloody a lot of new troops, and this is the first chance you have to kind of take your army out for a spin. So this is, once again, Ultimate General Civil War on the Union side. We are playing Major General, and this is our army going into Distress Call. This is Fiasco, signing out.